So I'm gonna have a lot of people not liking me for this. I'm gonna keep it as real as
It's
possible.
not for the week. Well, listen, this is not for the week. This is why I named this show this. So let's get it popping.
Mm,
And they used to go to parties and say, Diddy requested you. And they knew to come.
yeah,
And it wasn't like Diddy went to these people and was like, hey, Playboy, take that. Come on, man. We going to the spot, Playboy. We going party. I want to see you scraping. No.
Oh, because it's all about the money right now. Like niggas saw that fucking Cassie got a bag, so they were like, "Oh, word? Oh, yo, I was there like 10 years ago, and he looked at me real sexually. Oh, I'm suing him."
it seems like when you have a black man in position and a black man who is dominant and they don't take no BS from, those people who are pale, the next thing you know, you have women coming out saying that they, assaulted them.
Know what door to go to. And I hate a motherfucker that be like, well, I was doing this for success. I was doing this because it was beneficial. And then when it wasn't beneficial to you, now we're here.
I'm gonna stand by her on this one because when she told the story of how they got together, and she stated that he tricked her, making her think that it was about a record deal, and it was just his ploy to get her away from her boyfriend at the time. I believe that that was his first predator move on that girl, and she was young.
This place is quote unquote called Hell on Earth. That's what the fucking federal place is called. He's in a federal detention in Brooklyn. We don't condone none of this bullshit.
Oh hell no! This is
I
wrong.
know my man's Jay Storm. You know what I mean. I know you, bro. I know how you rock and everything. This isn't okay in our circle, which is why we won it, and none of the women in our cliques, in our clubs, and our crews would be around those circles. All right, and we dealt with some really tough guys. We dealt with certain guys, whereas where we live a lifestyle, whereas if you beat your bitch, I can't tell you what to do. Are now tuned in to the podcast that's not for the bullshit and we is not for the week. And we got a lot to talk about. Finally got my female host, Miss Kane. How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm all right. It's the weekend. We gotta unwind. Get out. I want everybody to get their weed, get their cup of wine going because we got a lot of layers. In Shrek's voice, we got a lot of layers to unravel on this one right here. So we want to start out today going strong. We're gonna talk about the diddler. Did he do it?
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. All of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Did he? So Laura, check it out. So Diddy right now, it's been a month today. Today is October 19th. He got locked up September 19th. He's right now in Barclay Detention Center.
Mm.
This place is quote unquote called Hell on Earth. That's what the fucking federal place is called. He's in a federal detention in Brooklyn called the Barclay Detention Center, but the AKA for that detention center is called Hell on Earth. Now, he just got off a suicide watch. This dude went from sleeping on the softest, nicest, beautifulest beds, and now he's sleeping on a cot with 3 meals. Even if he orders commissary, it's not gonna be to his lifestyle. Like, I would be on suicide watch the whole time. But I just, as a woman, because I'm gonna express myself, but I really want to know from your point of view, where does allegedly all of these crimes that are come forth for this black man? Now, mind you, I don't give a fuck. We're gonna keep this one a race thing. Because this is like I said, this is gonna be a layers thing that we gotta peel back. So this is gonna be a couple segments, but I want to keep in mind that Diddy is a black man doing these crimes that a lot of white men that are in the fucking media right now for the same shit is not going through what Diddy's going through. But as a female, I want to know what you're thinking.
Well, let me tell you, this has been going on since the dawn of time. If you had millions and billions, when you throw parties, the first thing you ask for is some blow. The second thing you ask for is some ladies. Where them girls at? Where them girls at? Okay. That's what you're asking for. So for me, they're acting like this is not an occurrence all throughout Hollywood. My issue is when Puff starts speaking about the bigger plan and what he had planned for the black community, then that's when all these accusations start coming out. Accusations start coming out. It was pretty much the same thing we seen with Bill Cosby. It seems like when you have a black man in position and a black man who is dominant and they don't take no BS from, those people who are pale. The next thing you know, you have women coming out saying that they, assaulted them and done other things. Diddy has not been rich as long as a lot of these men in Hollywood. Why are we coming after Diddy? Where about all the men who had money before him?
And what I want to say too is because I literally grew up on Diddy. I
Mhm.
grew up on the backs of Diddy, Biggie, Mace, all the bad boy family. Like, I grew up on these guys, and Diddy was a big part of my childhood and teenage. But it wasn't like no secret. Like, Diddy was always in some shit.
True.
The Shine situation with the shooting in the club, smacking rappers, being aggressive with women and everything. Like, this has been in the media. I've covered stuff way back in the days, but now it's like I feel like it's things that a lot of people do in the industry. Like,
Mhm.
everybody does this. It's not no secret because when we were younger, when I'm gonna say maybe 13 years old, when 106 in Park was 106 in fucking Park, and you used to run home, everybody was talking about a Diddy party.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody was at a Diddy party, and I'm sure because everybody is so innocent now. But I'm sure a lot of these celebrities, and it's documented, a lot of these celebrities have took place in
Okay.
these freakos.
Mhm. Yeah, and they
But
said they had a lot of stars on tape with Diddy.
so it's crazy, but it's a lot of layers. Now, Diddy is, the video with Cassie.
Mm.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I gotta get your thoughts before I say what I gotta say. Just your thoughts on that video, because he's guilty. Like we could say that he's a black man and he's doing a lot of these, and but seeing that video and then seeing his apology, what are the thoughts on a black strong female's point of view?
So I'm gonna have a lot of people not liking me for this. I'm gonna keep it as real as
It's
possible.
not for the weak. Well, listen, this is not for the weak. This is why I named this show this. So let's get it popping.
Listen, I feel so bad for what happened to Cassie. That video showed a lot. But being a woman in a relationship, I have been in toxic relationships where I played my role too. The thing was, I did things, and when a female does stuff, like, I ain't gonna lie, I may have my man, like, cause he didn't make me mad. And I said, and then I didn't expect for him to, and it was like, it was in response to my toxicness.
No.
And but to see that scene where he kicked her, for me, I think the world would have received it differently if he had not kicked her. Because when he kicked her while she was on the ground, that right there showed a side of him that was, you could see that as a monster.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get!
And I think when he kicked her, that's when the world said, oh no, that was low down. Because you don't even kick a dog. So how would you kick a human?
Right.
I think that if he would have just chased her down and maybe not punched her, maybe slapped her, I
Open
think we
hand.
would have
Open
received
hand.
it differently. Yeah. It was just too aggressive. And it felt like it was something that he was definitely used to. I feel for Cassie in that moment. And I can't speak to her situation because every woman's situation is different. But speaking from my situation, I played a role in my situation. I won't deny that. But I think after the apology, I felt like Diddy definitely was in a better place now, because let's just look at how he was trying to release the what is it called? The rights to people's their masters. He was giving people their masters back. I think Diddy was slowly becoming a decent person. I think he starts seeing that maybe his past was awful and he wanted to do right. But at the same time, you know what they say, was done in the dark comes to the light. But oh, it's so hard because
Why is it dark on dark light? You know what I mean? Like, why is the light not coming on the white? Like, that's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I respect everything that's going on, and I don't respect it. First of all, I don't condone any of this.
right,
I don't condone
me
any of
neither.
this. But at the end of the day, in hip hop, we've condoned pimping.
Mhm.
We have condoned putting down our women, bitches
Mhm.
and hoes, and you know what I
Mhm.
mean. And if you got money, you could do what you do. This is what we've known as people in
American
the
culture.
culture. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is our culture. So
Yeah.
you know,
I,
yeah.
Yeah, I believe two things can be true. I believe that she could be partly to blame, but then I could believe that she has Stockholm syndrome, where
Mm.
her abuser became someone that she idolized. I don't believe that when Diddy first, well, you know what, when she first told the story of how they got together, and you know what, no, I think on this situation with Cassie, I think I'm gonna stand by her. I'm gonna stand by her on this one because when she told the story of how they got together, and she stated that he tricked her, making her think that it was about a record deal, and it was just his ploy to get her away from her boyfriend at the time. I believe that that was his first predator move on that girl, and she was young. So I do believe that she was definitely a victim. And then he's this big man, and I'm talking about as in the world, he has all this money, he has all this power, and her boyfriend at the time probably didn't have much. And so for her, she probably would thought like, if I want this deal, I better take it. Unfortunately, a lot of artists are faced with that deal. Look at TLC. They pretty much went through the same thing. It just wasn't a physical thing. They pretty much was put in a situation where it was either take this deal or you have nothing. But I think that in Cassie's situation, I felt like she didn't yet have the power to walk away, or she just felt like maybe she was going to lose it all and she dealt with it. But that's where us women, we have to be responsible for that because we have to figure out what do we value more, our lives, our health, or money. That's what we have to figure out because if you're going to choose to stay with a man because he provides for you and he takes care of you, then you are ultimately also responsible for some of your pain.
Right. So here's where I get like it's conflicted, right? So after all the partying and all the millions, because she had a allowance of 400,000 a quota. She wasn't like exactly. She was making like 2 million a year just being Diddy's girl. So my whole thing is you making all of this money and 1 year of abuse, 2 years of abuse, because we've all been in abusive relationships.
Mhm.
When does the people around you, because there has to be somebody around her like, girl, this is not normal. Get away. Where does
Oh,
where does it go where it's like, you start getting smart because you don't want this life. If you really didn't want this life, it shouldn't take you 10, 13 years to be like, I don't want this life.
mhm.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter all of the things that he's buying you. If you're truly unhappy and you feel like he's a monster and you got to get away and the salary cap that he's giving you isn't enough, it doesn't take you 10 years. And after you go completely broke with the tennis player that he paid for, that you ran off
Mhm.
with.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it's difference between justice and financial issues.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if
Oh
you want,
yeah.
if you want justice, if you, I feel like it shouldn't be 13, 20 years later where it's like, all right, I'm broke. The parties I'm not invited to. I'm not getting my Tucci. You know what I mean? I feel like I need to sue somebody now. That's not fair. Like rappers been flying women all around the world for my whole life. That's all I've been like. If you flew a chick around the world, you were a boss. Like that's a
Mhm.
status of, it's a flex. So now
Mhm.
you're telling me that me being nice, flying a chick across the world, and something happens, now it's a crime.
Right. Right.
Like I think for any grown ass woman or man to know that if you're having sexual intercourse for, first of all, more than a day, that's not normal. But if these things are going for 3 days and you have to take IV after these free calls, the first one, that's a story. You partied with
Right.
Diddy. It's a story. Hey, yo, bro. Okay. But once you keep going back to these things, and you understand that there's drugs, prostitutes, and people, like you see it. Like, why did it take so long and for a crumbling? Why this didn't happen when Diddy had the world? Why is it happening all at once? I just think it's unfair. Like, we're not gonna say that wrong isn't wrong. Wrong is wrong. He's
Wrong is
wrong. But
definitely wrong.
I
Yeah.
feel like the justice system that we have is even more wrong.
Yeah, I agree to some sense, but I feel like Cassie was definitely in Cassie's situation. I feel like her situation is so different from the other girls because I feel like he got her hooked. I don't feel like Cassie spoke about it, but for her to keep returning and she had this money, it shows me that Cassie was not responsible with money. She wasn't educated about how to get herself out of this situation. I really feel like she had to have some type of addiction. Have an addiction, you want that feeling over and over, and it could be sex, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol. She may have had times where she wanted to leave, but that feeling that she was getting was so good. And then you got to think about it. Like you said, who was around her to say, girl, this is not okay?
Right.
Usually you always got the one friend who's like, girl, no. And usually it's the male who runs that friend off to isolate them. And I believe that may have happened with Cassie. And I think the rest of her friends were paid for it. I think the rest of her friends were bought friends. And they did
Right.
not tell her, listen, homegirl, this is not it. I don't care how much money, how much power he has. You need to leave him alone. I feel like men in power, they use their money and they use their position to manipulate girls, and especially older gentlemen. And I speak from experience. When
Mhm.
you're young, you don't have the wisdom to understand that what's happening in that moment is not okay. And sometimes it does take 10 to 12 years later for you to realize what happened to you was not okay. I'm speaking from my own position, but me, the way I thought was I had a hand in that, so I should not speak on that. And I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying from my standpoint, I felt like I was ultimately responsible because I put myself in those positions when I was warned. I was
Right.
warned. My mama used to warn me, and I didn't listen. But at the same time, I can't say that for everyone. But for Cassie, I feel like she was a victim of circumstances.
Like I said, I can't speak on SA victims because I've never been SA'd. I can't
Mhm,
speak on certain situations, but it's just being an adult, uh,
mhm,
being a broke at times adult.
mhm.
A modern age adult. Whereas in 2024, if you're not rich, you're broke.
Yeah,
So, but you want change. After a
right.
while, you sit with those things, and you live that life. And I get it. Addiction is one thing and everything, but it's just, what do you want for yourself? And
Mhm,
I don't understand how it like I said, it's a sticky situation because we really don't know. They
right.
making Diddy sound like a monster, but from what I've learned from the social media and what I've learned of being a popular um face on social media,
Mhm,
when they don't like you, you're gonna be
mm,
gay, you're gonna be a
mhm,
monster, you're gonna be a bully, you're gonna be very misunderstood, you're gonna be very difficult, and it's not the situation. I've been all of those things. I've been called everything under the sun,
mm.
and 90% of it wasn't true. And then the other
That's messed up.
10%, yeah, and then the other 10%, it was enhanced.
Mm,
It was an argument that we it was a miscommunication and somebody fucked up on their end, and I went off because I had every right, but because I went off, and this person is supposed to be my people. What I mean? Now it's, oh well, fuck him. Nobody likes to get
mhm.
embarrassed. Nobody likes to be the little person.
True,
And I
true.
feel like Cassie seen that she had her fun. Now she was broke. She seen that she was the little person, and Diddy didn't need her because he had one of the hot girls, and she told her, I'm nasty. You know what I mean? And I feel like Cassie was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, and I don't feel like she was totally innocent in the situation. I feel bad for the abuse that happened to her, but there were stories that came out about her, treating Kim Porter some type of way and
oh
being
yeah,
nasty towards other people,
yeah.
so
That I heard of. So the Kim Porter situation, eh, the conspiracies of that she was murdered, and then after the second autopsy, they said that she had pneumonia, and
mhm,
then she died, and that conspiracy. Then the Tupac Biggie conspiracies with Diddy, all of these things that are happening. You hear about the one of the magazine's issues. He had like a article on there and wanted to see it before, and like threatened the female CEO there, and they had to get her out of it. It's like so much things with these alleged.
mhm,
Everything got to be alleged right now because
yeah,
it's like it's everything is too much to unwind and unpack all at once, because
mhm.
it's, you want to be like, he didn't do all of that.
Mhm.
But then you
And there's
really just don't know.
yeah, I'm gonna say there's some things that I've been hearing that I totally just don't believe that he's dead. You know, a lot of these girls, because it's the same story. Like even with not Donald Trump, Lord Jesus, with Bill Cosby, with one of the lady saying that he roofied her, and then with Diddy, a lot of stories we've heard a lot of stories about Diddy throughout the years, and none of them was ever drugging. Predators usually stick to a routine. They usually have a profiles with profilers call them. Let me build up a profile, and they never really deter from that path. So I feel like a lot of these women who are coming out, I don't believe all of them. I just really don't. The young lady who said that she kept her clothes and she put it in a plastic bag for 4 years, honey. Now, that for me, and then you went right back out with him the next day. Now you weren't in a relationship with him. He wasn't someone that you was always with. That for me sounds like you're setting yourself up for a payday. I
Yeah.
do not believe that she was assaulted. And the issue with some of these women who are getting on this bandwagon, they're taking the light away from women who really have been assaulted. And those women are always put in a position where they have to be questioned of, are you telling the truth? Are you telling the truth? But here's a question I have for you, Johnny. For the women that were handpicked and they were willing to come, and we know these type of groupies, they like the Drea Michelles, they're
Yeah.
like the Black Chinas.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
girls that you call when you want to party. Now, when you come to a party, you expect certain things, parties like that, you expect certain things. I
Right.
guarantee you, Diddy was like this, yo, it's about to go down. Who getting,
Yeah.
effed? If
Right.
you're not getting effed, you gotta go.
Right.
But when you are in a position like that, you know what comes along with that. It is not you're about to go to a party and you about to walk out of there innocent still. No, these men want a fun time for a moment, and they're going to pay you for that. So is that SA, or did you sign up for that? And should these women
So
be
this
seen as
is
victims?
this is what I have researched.
Hmm.
Diddy is on some underground sex shit. Like he's on some weird shit. So what Diddy would do is, and this is all documented. This is what's on his sheet right now. When Diddy used to touch down, say he touched down in LA, and he had certain spots. I think it was like LA, Florida, New York. Anyways, when they knew Diddy was in Florida, New York, LA, he had a street team that had like certain hats and t-shirts that basically said, I work for Diddy.
Mm,
And they used to go to parties and say, Diddy requested you. And they knew to come.
yeah.
And it wasn't like Diddy went to these people and was like, hey, Playboy, take that. Come on, man. We going to the spot, Playboy. We going party. I want to see you scraping. No. He sent his mans to go get you. Like he threw up the bat fucking sign and you knew it's time to party.
Mm,
So, from what I've heard, and I'm waiting for the proof of it because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot. Diddy used to basically get these parties going, film them, and then like use certain films for certain people to be like, if you don't do this again, I'm gonna expose you.
mm. That's blackmail. That's illegal.
That's where we federal now. This is where it's getting federal now.
Hmm.
So this is where the oil's coming out and everything. Now, I honestly, it is what it is. Like, hey, as a black billionaire, you sometimes got to protect the bag.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what he had to do. And I think if anybody in that position wanted to be like, yo, if you try to come for me, Playboy, this is what I'm going to do. And hey, it's blackmail, but you got to do what you got to do. Now you doing guy on guy, girl on guy, you doing all of this. But my whole thing is now we're getting new information where it's like kids are involved.
Oh, see, oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
And yeah, see now that's where I don't play. I don't play that. We don't play with kids.
Right.
And I don't want to speak on that one because I don't know how true it is.
Exactly.
And if it is, Diddy definitely needs to be underneath the jail, under the
Underneath. Underneath how he belongs to stay where he's at.
yeah, yeah.
And like with his doors open at all times for anybody to run
Mhm.
in and shit.
Mhm. We don't play
But
about kids.
my thing is like it's so many things that is like we grew up on Predators. Like we watched Nickelodeon and we were
Mhm.
laughing at some of the dudes that were like really doing some fucked up shit.
Right.
I'm the hugest wrestling fan, and Vince McMahon is in some shit. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's like these are the things where it's like, is this normal? And like, is this
It
what?
is. It
And
is.
my whole thing is, it's like, when all right, so I've been in the struggle and I've wanted a deal. And I've sat in rooms where just people just gave not even gay vibes, not even it just cutthroat vibes. You know, the game is cutthroat. When you get in the game, they let you know it's a cutthroat game. So
Mhm.
I feel like if you want to party with billionaires, there's rules and there's
Mhm.
regulations.
Mhm.
And some laws don't apply until something, until a
Pop off.
negotiation. Yeah, it doesn't apply to certain people on certain waves. And I just feel like partying with Diddy after a while, maybe in the bad boy era, maybe it was a little bit more, cool and shit like that. But as you elevate, you done did it all.
Yeah.
You done had every bad chick. You done drink every expensive champagne and liquor. You can get any weed and everything. You know what I mean? It starts getting boring.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's why they have these freak offs, because they don't
Right.
have nothing else to do with their time, and then they're so desensitized down there that it's like they have to have certain type of orgasms and certain type of experiments because you didn't done that's like when Faith Evans. We'll go back to Faith Evans because Faith said it herself. She said when she was young, she was out there thotting.
Mhm.
And that's why the D word don't really do nothing for her now. So that lets me know she didn't had almost every type, every size, and that's why she can't be physically pleased. When you're out there doing things like that, this is what happens. That's why you're supposed to not be out here just sleeping around with Tom, Dick, and Harry. You become this person who is an addict, and you want to do freaky stuff. You want to do freakier stuff. So that's why some of these accusations they don't seem too far fetched because he didn't done it all. And let me say this, let me be very clear. Um, even though some of those women signed up to go there, if they said the words no out their mouths, I don't care if you paid them or not. The word no means no. And
Right.
if Diddy did not follow those words of no or anyone else in this camp, then he is definitely guilty if he proceeded to do things that he wasn't supposed to do against their will. I want to be
Um,
very clear about that. No is no.
I want to be clear on something too. Since I was 9 years old, I wanted a record deal, and Hav was actually my manager. We had a record deal. Hav got me a record deal with Wu Tang, like back in the days. Like we'll tell
Mm,
that on story time one time, but it was like a distributing deal with Wu Tang, and I knew that sitting in this place, I had to sell something of myself,
mm,
and I wasn't ready. And that's why we never made the deal.
mm.
I would tell you, I was sitting at the tables with the contracts ready for me to sign, and I never showed up. I was the princess that just never, you know what I mean? I just left because I understood that in this game, somebody's gonna take my music, somebody's gonna take my money, somebody's gonna stab me in the back, somebody's gonna do me dirty. And
Mm,
as a kid, I was only 17 at the time. I was not ready. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
that's what people don't understand. Everybody makes it a joke. Oh, the Illuminati, you sell your soul. That shit is real. There is a fucking group of people, of billionaires that run the fucking game, that run all of this shit right here, and you do whatever the fuck they say. If they say show up on this set and you don't show up on the set and you are difficult and they want to blackball you, you're blackballed.
That's the Church of Scientology.
Yeah. So
I believe they're the main source of the Illuminati. Look how if you're a celebrity and you don't follow the rules of Scientology, they blackball you or they come after your life. Leah Remini, she spoke on that. They then tried to hurt people.
Yeah.
What churches you ever heard of trying to hurt you because you ain't paid your tithes?
And this is gonna, and we're gonna segue into this. It's like the election. Everybody thinks that the election is just two angels coming together and they're gonna fight for our best interest. That's not how this works.
Right.
This is not how this world has grown. If you knew, when we grew up, we learned about Indians and motherfucking pilgrims. And we thought they were so fucking happy to be that we made a whole motherfucking Thanksgiving for it. Not knowing that them motherfucking pilgrims were some grimy ass bitch ass niggas, man.
It hurt me to wake up and see my beautiful black people suffer, victimized by the oppressive, harsh realities of the hood. I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message.
Right.
And with the election, it's the same thing. You got corrupt people running a corrupt business, which is America. America is corrupt. We're all corrupt in our ways. We all do our little dirt. It just matters of where's your tax. If you got a good enough lawyer and you could continue these cases, so where these motherfuckers go bankrupt and the shit just goes away, you could get away with anything in America.
That's true.
You could do anything in America. This is why they say America is so fucking great. Because if you're rich, you can have the world. Diddy's rich. You want to be Diddy. If you can't be Diddy, you want to be next to Diddy. There's some niggas right now. Right now, when I was a battle rapper in Youngstown, Ohio, being the champ, niggas wanted to kill for me. Not so much kill, but just go to jail for stupid shit. You want to, and this is a person just to stand next to a person that they feel has some type of clout. Because it wasn't like I was putting bags. I didn't have money. I was broke. So people wanted people and with their wants, they'll go to the extreme for it. So I believe I'm gonna say 90% of these people that was on this situation wanted it. Period. Point fucking blank. Is Diddy wrong? Yes, he's wrong for certain situations, but at the same time, I don't think he literally put a gun to certain people's heads and was like, "Do this shit."
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't. So yeah, I don't believe. Like you said, I don't believe every person in there who said that they were a victim was a victim, but I do believe there were some victims. I do believe them, and those people are the ones that we really need to hear and really need to stand up and support them because you can get caught up in this lifestyle. And let me tell you, they always targeted young girls. The younger girls are the ones who never know what they're signing up for. They never know because they think it's just a fun time for a moment, and they never understand that when you walk in through the doors of parties like that, nothing that you are going to receive is for free. You are going to ultimately have to pay. And usually it's with your body and it's with your mind and it's with your soul. You're going to give up a lot. And that's why I think it's so important for us to educate our young daughters and young sons because they said he was on the boy tip too. We got to educate our young kids that everything that glimmers is not gold. And every person who has money in their pocket and they're talking about they're going to give you an opportunity, they just might be waiting for an opportunity to break you. And I think that we need to make our kids aware of that. And that's why talking about Diddy, and not just Diddy, but others. That's why making these stories the focal point of a lot of headlines are important. It's important because it's just too much. The more I watch, because at first I was like, I don't care about Diddy. I don't want to hear about this. But the more I learned, the more I heard, I said, oh no, I got kids.
Right.
Oh no. Yeah.
That I just, because people get so caught up in their traumas. That's another reason where it's like you don't want to really be too harsh and not believe so many people because there was a time where I just been like, yo, suck that shit up, bro. You know what I mean? But as you get older and you unlock those things, you know, something that happened when you was 21, it might have took 10 years for it to, you know, for it to be like, okay, maybe that wasn't cool, and things like that. So, you know, if you feel like you're going through that, or you know, you feel like you know somebody going through that, you feel like you know somebody that's going, you know, just being a lost soul, go get help, man. Go get therapy. Go see somebody. Talk to somebody, because you know, like, these situations could have been handled by communication. You know, if you told somebody and you know you did the right thing, it wouldn't have been so long, and this person wouldn't have been able to do the things he was doing for so long. So, you know, even if you feel wrong, you know, you got to talk to somebody. You got to tell somebody. Go get a therapist, and you know, get their you know, opinion.
Therapy is definitely important.
It's especially now, like, it wasn't cool back in the days 10 years ago, but it's very, very important that people get therapy, especially in the urban community, because we all, you know, as men, we're just chuck that shit up, bro. Keep it moving. And women are just like, hey, you know, I got to do what I got to do, but just get help, man. You know, and you know, we're gonna speak to Hav about it, man. We're gonna go on break real quick, but then we're gonna come back, and then you know, we're gonna talk more, man. Let's go.
I put my heart in this. Why does everyone think they're the hardest? Why do you speak for the sake of speaking? You don't even know what you're trying to describe. Honey, calm down, calm down. I was just trying to be nice. If that's how it's gonna be, your future might be really bleak. It's your own fault that you feel your feelings. I'm not responsible for your losses. I'm not responsible for your problems. I was around back then, but I'm not around right now. Find someone else who will care. Find someone else who will help you while I'm on my business. I do what I want, no Diddy. Who's gonna stop me, no Diddy? You ain't that great to be silly. You're another facade, no Diddy. I do what I want, no Diddy. Who's gonna stop me, no Diddy?
Diddy out here wilding, bro. The whole reason we started this podcast right now, bro, is for this man right here, bro. Because we're going to talk a lot about Diddy in this podcast, because he just turned himself in not too long ago. And there's a lot of shit, bro. There's a lot. Yo, all right, so how I'm going to be real with you. There's a lot of details to this shit that I didn't agree with at first, but as it keeps, you know, like, going on, and it reveals more details, it's like, what the fuck was wrong? What is wrong with these people? So Diddy turned himself in, and you know,
first of all, and anything that we say about Diddy is allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, just put like that disclaimer like out there. You know what I mean?
Okay, so allegedly. So back in the summer, Diddy got raided in 3 homes: LA, New York, Miami. All those homes got raided. We didn't know what was going on. He was out of, you know, out of state, out of town, whatever. He came back, turned himself in, and then we just started learning about a bunch of shit. This man was having freak offs with male and female sex workers, flying people from here to there, talk about fucking brains out to the point where they needed IVs in them, and he was beating his bitch dead. Now, let me tell you something. Now, we come from, we were in an auto club, all right, and we dealt with some really tough guys. We dealt with certain guys, whereas like where we live a lifestyle, whereas if you beat your bitch, I can't tell you what to do. I can't say, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna, if you beat your bitch, I could be like, yo, chill out, whatever. But you know what I mean? If she goes back to you, bro, I'm not about to keep, you know what I mean? I'm not about to fight, you know what I mean? That was my thought process. So when I seen the video with him and Cassie, how I didn't see too much wrong with it, because of the fact that that was their thing. They have, is it right? No. But niggas is in toxic relationships every day, B. You know what I mean? It's this situation is real sticky, because you know, I understand that you have daughters, and you know, it's different when you know you have kids. I don't have no kids. But what I'm saying is that if somebody is abusive, whether it's sexually, physically, mentally, whatever, however, I want every woman to know, even men, get up out of that situation as soon as possible. It's not cool. It doesn't matter how much money the nigga gives you. It's not okay, right? My issue with these problems with Diddy is I'm sure that this is a industry thing. Vince McMahon did it.
Sure.
Epstein's did it. This is what they do.
And even further, like you can
yeah,
go further down.
This is not new. This is not new, huh? None of this shit is new. This is where it becomes a problem with me, where it's like, even if the nigga's guilty, I'm seeing a problem with it because why are these cases 13, 15, 16 years old?
Oh, because it's all about the money right now. Like niggas saw that fucking Cassie got a bag. So they were like, oh, word? Oh, yo, I was there like 10 years ago and he looked at me real sexually, or I'm suing him. That's
Bro,
all.
we were chilling somewhere downtown and Diddy rode by us. I'm pretty sure. Like, I want a case. But my thing, Hav, is it justice or is it a financial thing? What are we fighting?
I mean, I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could look at this. You know what I'm saying? Me, if you are gonna ask for my opinion,
yes.
If he was with the guy, what they were together, what 7,
10
8,
years.
9 years,
10.
and
10
he
years.
was, and this is not the first time, but you stood with him. So, to me, it's all consensual.
Because that they're making
If it happened one time and you left, then I could rock with you. You know what I'm saying? And be like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean? But you stood. And then like what's your excuse of why you stood? Because you wanted just to give him the chance, or you was just focused about the money?
my thing is,
I mean,
man,
it's just ugly, man. It's ugly. It's just
we don't.
it's
All
just
right, and I want to disclaim this as well. We don't condone none of this bullshit.
Oh hell no! This is
I
wrong.
know my man's Jay Storm. You know what I mean? I know you, bro. I know how you rock and everything. This isn't okay in our circle, which is
No,
why we won it, and none of the women in our cliques, in our clubs, and our crews would be around
I
those
kicked
circles.
out like a member for doing some shit like that. I was like, nah, man, I'm not rocking with that. I don't need that around me, because that's not how I was raised. That's not how I do. And again, it's just like you said, I have daughters. You know what I'm saying? And me as a father, if I would know that, it just, you know.
And what I want to let people know as well is when we were in these clubs every weekend, it was a cesspool. It was freak offs. It was freak offs on rooftops. It was crazy shit, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like we were getting in the mix. Whoever got in their shit, they got in their shit that was theirs, you know what I mean? It was that door that you knew, yo, those niggas is over there. The sucios and sucias and the freaks are over there. So if you over there, we know why you over there. And the weed smokers and the bosses is over here. You know what I mean? So you know what door to go to. And you know, I hate a motherfucker that be like, well, I was doing this for success. I was doing this because it was beneficial. And then when it wasn't beneficial to you, now we're here.
Listen, man, so, a person knows right from wrong. You know, Diddy, he felt he got this money and this power, and he thought he could do whatever he wanted, and he got away with it for a long time. But once he gave up that first bag, that's it, bro. That's when the FBI was like, there's something more to this.
And yeah, and what I want to let people know as well is that this isn't a this is almost a trend for billionaires. All right, like if you look at this right now from the last, I don't know, let's say forever, let's just say forever, this has been happening. This is happening to Epstein, Vince McMahon, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Diddy. This has happened to everybody. They pick and choose.
And what do all those people have in common?
They are billionaires. They got money out the yin yang.
So that's the common, like the denominator. If you got money, then you think that you got the power to, you know.
And another
Like
thing is
you.
like what bothers me is that, you know, because I know what it is to be the trend. You know what I mean? And that back in the days, everybody was talking about a Diddy party. You wasn't that nigga if you wasn't at a Diddy party. Now, niggas don't want to even associate themselves with a Diddy party.
Yeah, because it's a different time now. Because, like, to be honest, like, all these rumors about Diddy have been going on since the 90s. Like when Wendy Williams, which I used to listen to her every day, she was the one who really, you know, had put it out there with Diddy and Jay-Z. You know, so this is not new. It's just a different time. You have you know, like the Me Too, like the movement. It's just a different time. And now it's like, okay, if you did this 15 or 20 years ago, so what? You can still get charged for it now. You know what I mean? And that's what it all comes down to now. It's all about who can get the bag. What can you prove? And like with the feds, you don't really have to prove much. So he's definitely
And
gonna
it's scary
get some
because
time. There's no way that he goes scot-free. He's gonna do something. Or he's gonna have to snitch. If not, he's never gonna come out ever again.
Who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What they?
Hey, look at it. Kareem Akbar. That's right, the educated brother from the bank. He's the real head of the CNB. The brains behind the whole thing. I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people.
He's gonna have to snitch, but who's he gonna snitch on if the feds really just want him? There's nobody higher than Diddy, like, for him to snitch on. That the feds like will want and even offer him like a plea.
Yeah, because what they got on him right now is that he's got shit on the Prince, Jay-Z, a couple other cat, you know, allegedly all of these people, and he's like using things. He was using
kept the video.
He kept the videos for blackmail, which is even more crazy. All right, so allegedly they're saying that Diddy had freak offs, and when people were like, "Nah, I'm cool, bro," he was like, "Nigga, you did a freak off with me already. I have this evidence. You're gonna keep doing it." This is where it gets where it's like you weren't guilty, but if this is what's happening, my man. Now it's children involved. Now it's blackmail. It's just so much things where it's just like you went from a state case where I would have been with him if it was you beating your bitch and you flying a bunch of bad bitches around the world. The fuck you're good, bro. I'm gonna stand behind you. But once you go into you was making niggas fuck because you had that on them and you got kids involved and everything, bro, you are going to die.
Yeah, there's no way he gets out. There's no way the feds are gonna let him out. No way.
He's got baby oil, video, pictures. Bro, why do niggas keep that evidence, bro? You got the evidence, bro. I was watching the little monster, the little thing about the Mendez boys and shit. They kept the why is niggas keeping evidence, bro? Like
why keep like the evidence? It's just beyond me, bro. You are a billionaire, bro. you should have, all right, if fucking that's your thing, and if you want to look at videos, that shit should be on a different like fucking cloud or different like a hard drive stash and fucking Aruba.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking. In a whole nother where you can't get extradited. There's no bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I said, allegedly, and we do not condone none of these acts.
Nah, no
But
way. No way.
there has to be, I don't know, like, you know, they say like when serial killers is doing their dirt, they like to return to the scene of the crime and do all of this shit, bro. Like, I'm from the hood. If I was with you and you committed a crime, I'm burning everything, nigga. Like, nigga, there's no evidence to nothing. Like,
no evidence.
I guess it's a money thing, huh? Like where
definitely. It's all about money, bro. It's all about money.
You get to the point where it's you're untouchable, and you just do these things. Like, I get it. Like, don't get it twisted. I get it. Once you get to a certain certain level, you're fucking bad bitches, it gets boring. It's just to the point where you just sit in the club like there's nothing else to do. But to do these shits that these people are doing, bro, and it just be the norm. This is a Hollywood normal thing, brother.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
And whoever's on those tapes is going to get like a subpoena. Everyone.
Who you think is on the tapes?
Definitely J-Lo. Definitely Usher. Definitely. I mean, like allegedly is like what I hear. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing the hypotheticals out there.
If they got that tape, J-Lo's definitely on them tapes. If they got tapes, J-Lo's is on them tapes.
J-Lo's on those tapes. I mean, Usher. I mean, you see all these news clips with Justin Bieber. I mean, but what they saying that there's somebody higher than Diddy. I'm like, who's higher than Diddy?
Jay-Z.
Who are we talking about? That is higher than Diddy. That's on these tapes.
They talk about the Prince. He got a Prince on there. Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I'm sure there's a lot of politicians in there too.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure Bill Clinton somewhere in there. If it's the last 15 years, definitely Bill Clinton's on there. For sure, my man Billy on there. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, my whole thing is it's this world is a corrupt place. And I just feel like maybe when you get to a certain tax bracket, you party different. But I don't like the fact that it's a norm. People do this for this is their weekend pleasures, this is their getaways, this is their this is their financial whatever. And now they turn it around and they make how rappers used to brag, because this is what we bragged about, bro. Slutting bitches out, flying them across country, popping champagne, doing drugs, and having a ball. And that is what niggas is getting indicted for.
How many people have not flown out like a chick to just get dug out and send her back home? Dude, that's sex trafficking.
Trafficking, that's crazy.
So if that's the case, I mean, you're gonna have millions of dudes, indicted for sexual fucking trafficking, because that's
some of these laws, some of these laws have is just, it's like they're taking our rights and using them against us to put us in jail, bro. You don't have a freedom of speech. You can't do certain shit without a certain rule. And then it's like, if they want to, I'm sure that Diddy has put a nice bankroll away just to keep this away. But when they don't, it's not about money with the federal government, bro. Like, You know what I mean? It's just whenever they
But
want.
just think about all the other like the cases that have been settled already, like in the back door that nobody even knows about. So I'm sure he's done paid out a whole bunch of people in the last 10 to 15 years. It's
All right,
just now
well,
since that video like it came out, that's it, that opened up the whole floodgates. You know what I mean?
I want to let y'all niggas know how serious this is. Diddy is locked up in New York City. I don't think he's in Rikers, but I know he's in somewhere that they
In Brooklyn.
where. Oh, he in Brooklyn. Oh, this is where they call hell on earth.
Yeah.
This is hell on earth. Let me tell you something. He took out a loan for one of his mansions for I think $80 million. And he put up that $80 million for bail, and they denied him
50 million. 50.
Is it 50 million? Well, he sold it for 80 million and put up 50 million, and they denied his bail.
Yeah, it was his home in Miami. He put that up.
He's lucky. He's lucky he got rid of that one, but like I said, it's man-made, bro. Why did he take out the Miami house? But anyways, he took out the Miami house just in time for fucking Milton.
Yeah.
Got 80 mil, put 50 up. Judge said, nah, we want you.
Yeah.
We want you. You're going to sit here and we're going to make an example out of you. Let me tell you something. When you sit in that cell and you just know you got bail and you just, I'm out of here, man. Fuck everything y'all niggas is talking about. I'm gonna take my commissary, take my slippers, nigga. I'm good. Put me in the hole until my motherfucker. And then that judge says, denied bail. This motherfucker gave up passports for his mother, sister, was given. They said no. He was put on suicide watch. Oh, that's everybody. You know, and once you get into one of those situations, everybody gets put on suicide watch. He's gotten took off suicide watch. I think Diddy is gonna either off himself before this is over, or
this is not going to trial.
Yeah,
this is not.
It can't. It can't, because none of that money that you have, your legacy, it means nothing. Biggie. They did it. They raided you on Biggie's 20th anniversary. Biggie is laughing in his I'll do it.
Supposedly this trial is going to be in May of 2025. So he has all this time. He's not.
He's sitting in the hole right now. He's PC'd the fuck out.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure he got his little cell phones, and the guards is bringing him whatever. It's not the LA mansion. You got to understand, when I was making $2,000 every single week and I got fired from that job and I started making $400 a week, I went on suicide watch. All right, like $2,000 a week high to $400 a week is a big fucking difference, especially from a nigga that had nothing to, to having that opportunity. And then for Diddy to be in these mansions, having beautiful women, freak offs, this, that, and just to now you sitting in the cell, my nigga. You are humbled.
Oh yeah, he's going through it right now. He's really going through it.
I'm going through it for him, bro, because if you ever been locked up and you've been denied bail, or you've been in those situations where it's like, you don't know what's gonna happen. And in his situation, only the worst could come out of this, because your name, your everything is tarnished.
Yeah, and like he's a target in there too. So
yeah, of course. I mean, just everything, bro. Just everything. I mean, the culture switched on Diddy in 6 months, because now we went from no homo to no Diddy, and that's forever.
And nobody has shown any type of support like for him. Nobody.
And that just goes to show, bro, that's Diddy. That man gave you the bad boy records. He gave you Notorious B.I.G., French Montana, G. He gave you everything. We don't care, bro. That man is he is a target for the culture to make fun of. That is it. And we don't even know if he and again, this is alleged. We already gave up on that man.
Yeah.
We gave up on that man.
But you know, there's been a lot of stories of how he treated people and the bad deals that he gave people and he used people. So
allegedly killed Tupac.
Yeah, that's another thing, but you know, that's crazy all up in itself. But maybe this is like karma, like coming back.
Can't get away from it, bro. That's one thing I learned about life, bro. Like, you know, it you can't get away from it, bro. You know, that energy, you could act like you could go to sleep perfectly fine, but it's so much, man. And he just had years of threatening females, blowing up Kid Cudi's car, beating his women, extortion.
Just think about like his contact list, like on his phone, and compare it to yours or mine. You know what I'm saying? He must have thousands and thousands of contacts. Who's really out here like supporting him right now?
And if they are, they're doing it behind closed doors. But what I do want to say about that is, since Diddy has went to jail, it's been like almost a month now. Over 300 CEOs has stepped down from their positions.
Yeah,
that's including Nike.
They all doing like Russell Simmons.
Exactly. Everybody scrambling. What he said? Scrambling and scraping, daddy. Yeah, bro. Like everybody, you know, if people don't see the writing on the wall to get the fuck out, I'm telling you now, bro.
It's gonna be an interesting next couple of months.
King son, man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah. So tonight, it's gonna be a special night. Everybody's so serious, but we're about to go to Club Love. Club Love. If you can't dance or you can't pop, you gotta stay at home. You know the Joker don't play that, baby.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for all those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party, this is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look. Would you get the drink out his head? And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is a actual DJs aren't supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them. I put them to sleep.
No Diddy. But if Papa Bear look at you the wrong way, you're fired.
I put my heart in this. Why does everyone think they're the hardest? Why do you speak for the sake of speaking? You don't even know what you're trying to describe. Honey, calm down. I was just trying to be nice. If that's how it's gonna be, your future might be really bleak. It's your own fault that you feel your feelings. I'm not responsible for your losses. I'm not responsible for your problems. I was around back then, but I'm not around right now. Find someone else who will care. Find someone else who will help you while I'm on my business. I do what I want, no Diddy. Who's gonna stop me, no Diddy? You ain't that great to be silly. You're another facade, no Diddy. I do what I want, no Diddy. Who's gonna stop me, no Diddy?